we're live. Hello, everybody. Well, after the fact, I don't think anybody's here yet. So today we're actually going to talk about the planetary magic. Working with the planets as opposed to other types of spirits. Just want to see if we can give some time for people to get on. So just a couple announcements. Let's see. Next Friday, I'm going to have Reverend Kai on again. We're just going to be discussing money magic in general, going over some things that I've already discussed in the previous videos, and getting another opinion, really. Next month, what I'm going to do, I'm not going to pick a topic. I'm just going to do some general stuff just to catch up on some topics that need to actually be covered. And the month after that, I'll then do repairing the energy body. We're going to have a look very specifically at the Toltec path, and within that specifically the practice of recapitulation. And we'll have a look at some of the stuff like energy healing, Reiki, things like that, that can actually help to repair the energy body, cellular memory, and things like that. So that's what we'll do the month after. The month after next month, which is going to be general. Next month, during the general, I'm going to get Reverend Kai. They actually suggested it that we have a look at astrology, because Rev Kai is fantastic. They know their astrology inside and out. So anyway, let's get into the planetary aspects. When it comes to working with the planets and money specifically, we tend to have a look at Jupiter mostly. A lot of people have started using Mercury more because of the, Mercury being the whole aspect of movement and communication and things like that, and especially in business. But I mean, even in if you're job hunting, Mercury is fantastic with that communication aspect. So people, especially with money becoming more digital, Mercury is becoming more apparent in money magic. But Venus also, Venus is fantastic. But what I want to actually go through, if you have gotten your hands on Financial Sorcery by Jason Miller, in one of the chapters, he actually goes through each of the planets and talks about how they can be used within money magic. So all of the planets can actually be used, not just a select few. So I just want to have a look at those, really. So the first one is Luna, the moon. Luna is largely connected with women's mysteries. I'm trying to talk too fast. Women's mysteries, dreams, intuition, and things like that. So in that aspect, you can actually use the moon in spell work to actually bring you inspiration, ideas, things like that. Very good for business, the business aspect, if you're running a business and you need some fresh ideas, to bring those ideas into your dreams. And especially if you're a woman in business, I mean, the moon is very specific about being part of the female, the women's mysteries. I'm getting very tongue-tied today. Is Mercury still in retrograde? I'm not sure. I've been like this for a while now, since it started. But there's another aspect of the moon, which is timing and rhythm. And so you can actually use the moon to place you in certain situations at the right time. And especially when it comes to business, there's a certain rhythm that often takes place that you notice happening. And so you can actually take those cycles and work with them throughout a month period. You don't have to be a woman for this. Men also go through cycles, trust me. So you can actually use those cycles to your benefit. And once you recognize them, then you can definitely use them to your benefit. There are points where you are active. There are points when you just don't feel like getting out of bed. But if you recognize them, you can work them into everything you're doing. But also, as I say, the timing aspect, placing you in the right place at the right time, can often be very beneficial for anybody looking for a job, for anybody running a business, job opportunities, business opportunities, whatever it may be. Mercury, I think we've spoken about quite a bit actually in the past videos. Mercury is fantastic for communication. Communication when you are going for a job interview is very important. Communication when you are trying to sell a product to your customers, also very important, but also that fluid aspect of Mercury. And with the fluid aspect, we specifically with money magic rather than financial sorcery, you would be taking into consideration digital money, how money is digitized. Because, I mean, we might walk around with banknotes. Not many people do. Most people now just use plastic. I do. I rarely ever draw money from the ATM anymore. But the plastic and the paper, well, it's not really paper, it's cotton, isn't it? But the banknotes, let's call them banknotes, and the plastic credit cards, debit cards, etc., they are merely representations of a particular value. In themselves, they have no value. So they are just representations of the value that you have, the wealth that you have. But we can't really even call it wealth because, as mentioned previously, wealth is determined by how long you can go without a paycheck. But the fact is that the plastic and the banknotes have no value of themselves. They are just a representation. So all of that has become digitized. We do our banking online. We trade stocks and we trade Forex online. We obviously now have cryptocurrencies, which are purely digital. And so Mercury in that aspect is becoming more and more relevant. Okay, then to move on to Venus. Venus is excellent for interpersonal communications and bringing people together. So this is especially important in business, to actually network. You network with other businesses, you network with customers and clients, and building those relationships. So if you are into business, you're going to want to learn about the sales funnel and things like that. And networking is fantastic for that process, because if you are networking, when somebody actually speaks about you and your business and your product to another person, that person is usually in a trusting relationship with them. And because they're in that trusting relationship and that person trusts you and your product, then you kind of bypass the sales funnel quite extensively, actually. But also, when you've got people through your sales funnel and they become loyal customers, they can go out and they can be ambassadors for your company if you treat them right. If you don't, if you treat them like crap, they're not going to want to advertise for you. So right through the sales funnel, right to the end and beyond that, you need to treat your customers properly. Customer services is very important. It is actually something that's failing nowadays. But that is very important for business itself. Hi, Rach. I'll get to all the questions now. If anybody's got any questions, just put them all in, and I'll go through them all afterwards. Oh, no, yeah, Rach actually says that Venus is a winner for her. She mentioned on a comment that she did something similar to, I can't remember the names now. I've forgotten the names. Mercury again. Here we go. That's okay. She did some magic involving Venus, and she got an old Skadonk car, but she needed it at the time, so it was valuable in its own right. And that was using Venus, the pentacles of Venus. I'm going to get to the pentacles just now. All right, so that was Venus, very good for communication and networking. Then we've got Sun or Sol. The Sun can be used largely for inspiration. So if you are stuck, if you need some motivation or some inspiration to sort of push you forward and keep you going, Sun is brilliant. If you are trying to come up with a new product idea, for instance, again, inspiration. So Sun's very good for that aspect. Mars, many people wouldn't even consider Mars within money magic. In business, it's excellent, and even in job hunting, it's excellent. Mars can be used not just for those aspects, but also to banish bad luck and cross conditions. You can use Mars for that. But in business and job hunting, you would use Mars to actually get the upper hand. If you are going for an interview for a job, for instance, and there are other interviewees, then you can use Mars to actually get the upper hand on them in order to get the job. Same in business, get the upper hand over your competition and things like that. Jupiter's just the big boy. He's the big boss. Jupiter increases riches, wealth, money, everything. I'll get a bit more into Jupiter just now, I think. But Jupiter is the big boss. If you imagine a big company, you've got the CEO at the top. And if you have a project idea, you would take it to the CEO and pitch it to them, and they go, great idea, go run with it. But that's all the CEO would do. The rest of the team would actually do the marketing and the product development and everything else. So the CEO kind of sits there above and watches everything. And that's sort of like Jupiter. He's the big boss. So Jupiter's brilliant for building foundations and for building a kingdom, actually, because Jupiter actually is also a representative of sovereignty and kingship. So Jupiter can help you to build that kingdom, to build that empire. Just the same way as I spoke about on Tuesday about Mammon. He's also the big boss. So both of those can be used to actually just to build an empire and to put you in that position of power. And then finally, Saturn. Saturn is all about death. He's about endings. So if you've got a project that you need to actually end, then Saturn can be used for that. So you can end it properly without it, basically falling on its backside and becoming a mess at the end of the day. We find that, especially in business, you'll probably start a project and you'll keep it going for a while, but then you notice it's not really doing what you imagined it might do. So you can either start pumping more money and more time into it, or you can let it go and move on to something that's more valuable and more worthwhile. So if you do find yourself in a situation like that, you can use Saturn to actually end the product or end the project itself. Do it properly. Saturn can also be used for binding. You can also use it to banish. So if you've got something that's weighing you down, so it might be that project that you either need to pump more into or let it go. You can use Saturn to actually banish the project. So that is the planets, actually. Just want to go through Rachel's stuff here. Yeah, you made it. It's now half to Mercury. Makes more sense now in the modern world of commerce. Yeah, Mercury definitely does make more sense. I'm not applied. You mentioned something about Mercury is your rising sign, I think you said. I should have actually read that comment again before I got into this live. Way before, so it should be interesting. Okay. Yes, Jupiter is expansive. It expands. Actually, I did the video on the conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn. So the whole thing was that Saturn is death and Jupiter is about creating something new, expanding. So you had this contraction and then expansion. Yeah, Jupiter is definitely expansive, and expansive in the way of bringing more wealth and riches and money and things like that to you. It expands your business, it expands your universe, and everything else. I just want to go to the position in the book. This is the Financial Sorcery book, because he spoke about the four goddesses. Okay, so he speaks about sovereignty, which was spoken about already, which is about creating a kingdom. Jupiter is very largely about expanding everything in your life, actually. So, it's not just about your wealth and your business. It's about yourself and gaining freedom in order to pursue what you want to pursue. So it can help you to defeat self or habitual tendencies and master your own will. So that actually brings you freedom as well. Now, he spoke about an invocation that he did with Jupiter, and he was given a vision of 4 coins, and these 4 coins represented 4 goddesses, and those goddesses were Victoria, who embodies victory and triumph. The second was Libertas, who embodies liberty. The third was Concordia, who embodies harmony. And the fourth was Abundanta, who embodies abundance and prosperity. So if you want to work with Jupiter, then you might want to also look into these 4 goddesses. They are very balancing. So they actually represent the 4 cardinal points, the 4 guardians. And so if you actually consider something like the witch's foot, for instance, where you're pulling in power from the 4 cardinal points and then from above and below, and you're in the center. It's very similar to that in arrangement. So you can definitely use the 4 goddesses with Jupiter. Jupiter can be used for a lot of things, actually. Jupiter's quite powerful, I've got to say. I think all the planets are powerful, and I think if we actually do an invocation with each of the planets, we can actually find out some other aspects which we may not have considered. Sorry if my camera's freezing. I am still here. I'm not sure why it's frozen so much though. Anyway, so I'm going to carry on. You'll just have to watch me in frozen mode. I'll have a cup of I'll have some hot chocolate while I'm here. Okay, so you can still hear me. All right, that's fine. You can have a look at my pretty face in frozen mode. Actually, maybe I should try and restart it. No, if I try and restart it, I'm just going to bugger the whole system up. So I'm just going to leave it like this for now. All right. What I wanted to actually speak about then was the pentacles of the planets. If you go to the Greater Key of Solomon, I'm not talking about the birds are tweeting away. They're always tweeting away. If you go to the Key of Solomon, we often speak about the Lesser Key of Solomon, which is the Lemegeton, or also known as the Howling, the Goetia. But there's also the Greater Key of Solomon, which is split into 3 books. And these 3 books, the first 2 books actually go mostly into the actual practice of magic itself, how to actually create the tools, how to create the circle, how to consecrate, and things like that. And also get the first book in chapter 8 gives instructions on how to use or make and use the pentacles. And there's a whole lengthy thing about fumigation and things like that. But then if you go into the 3rd book, all of the planetary pentacles are in there, and there are about 4 to about 6 or 7 with each planet, and each one has a different aspect and calls different angels, and you can use them for different things on what planetary influence you're actually wanting to incorporate, and what you actually want to achieve. So you can actually go through all of those pentacles and use them. Now, ways to use the pentacles is simply to print it out or draw it if you have the patience to draw them. Some of them are a bit complicated, especially with the Hebrew and everything else. But you can print them out and then use them very similar to how you would use a sigil. And you can use them with candle magic as well. So basically, you would gaze at the pentacle, and then you can, as I say, you can use candle magic as well. So depending on which planet you're using, you can use a corresponding color, and then you I print them out in relevant color. Yes. The relevant color can definitely be used when you print them, but you can, as I say, you can use them with candle magic. So you can use the appropriate color of the planet itself with the candle, and you can actually use the pentacle itself very much like a petition paper. I got moaned at today in one of the comments about my video on petition papers, but I'll get into that next month. It's quite an involved, touchy subject, so I'm not going to talk about that now. Print out during the hour. I'm not particularly fond about the planetary hours and doing the magic on the planetary hours. I know a lot of people are. Personally, I don't actually use them. There's 2 or 3 systems you can actually use for the planetary hours. So, deciding which one is the right one becomes a bit tricky. I do often tend to recognize the day of the week in regards to the planet. But again, it's not, the top of my list, really. If I need to do some emergency magic on a Monday, which should be using Saturn, for instance, I'm not going to wait until Saturday. I need to do the magic then and there, so that's what I do. But I know a lot of people do recognize the hours and everything else, so yeah, the day can be important. I do like to actually recognize the moon phase, whether we are waxing or waning, for increase or decrease type of magic, type of work that we're doing. So we can do sort of magic that is going to increase or bring something in during the waxing moon, and then give it more power during the full moon, and then do things that will actually cleanse and banish during the waning moon, and then repeat that cycle basically. So that would be on a monthly basis. Funny enough, it's ideal. It's waxing, but it won't stop me. No, again, if you need to do something now and the moon phase isn't with you, or the planetary hour isn't with you, or the day of the week isn't with you, I don't believe we have to stop and wait until it's all perfectly aligned. The planets and the moon itself do add power, but it's not, it only adds to, it doesn't determine completely what happens. Yeah, so with the pentacles of the planets themselves, very easy way to use them. Just print them out. You can use an appropriate ink as you print them, or you can use an appropriate colored candle, and then use them as a sigil. So you would just sit there and gaze at the pentacle, and remember to keep your intent in mind. And you can do a visualization exercise with this, visualizing you already having what you're actually aiming for, and it's already come true. Hi, Rosie. Glad you can make it. Sorry, my camera got froze up, so I don't want to restart it because I'll probably mess everything up. Yeah, you can take the planetary pentacles. Oh, that's a bit of a mouthful. And you can then just gaze at it, and you can say a mantra if you want to. Just use it very, very much like a sigil. And at some point, that liminal state, that trance state, where you actually transfer the pentacle into your unconscious mind. But it's not specifically sigil magic itself, where you're going to burn it afterwards. You can do if you want to. It's largely about how you feel about it. If you feel that burning it and just transferring it into the subconscious will actually do what you need it to do, then do that. But remember that this is more in the lines of talismans, amulets, and things like that, where you don't actually get rid of or destroy the sigil, the glyph itself. So you can actually take it and you can put it on your altar, and you can leave it there, and or even pin it on the sorry, just put it up on the wall, for instance, like you would with a vision board. So with a vision board, it's on the wall. You pass it once or twice a day, and you don't actually stop and look at it intently. You just pass it and let the images and things work on the subconscious. So you can do the same with this. Eventually, it just becomes, something on the wall, and you don't really think about it, but it's still working in the subconscious, in the unconscious mind, and you're not constantly bringing it into the conscious and interfering with what you're actually trying to achieve. So anyway, so that's really what I wanted to talk about for this one. So any questions whatsoever, go for it. Ask whatever you want to. Okay, I'm just going to try and restart this camera. Let's hope this goes well. Otherwise, you're going to have a funny little cat on the screen. Okay, I don't think that. Okay, I don't actually think it's my camera. I think it's somehow frozen on. Oh, no, I think it's here. Hang on. Let me try this. Rosie, if Toronto is very cold today, you can come over to South Africa because it's extremely hot. I keep saying to my friend Reverend Kai that we need to actually start swapping weather because it's crazy. Can't get this camera to work. Okay, just ask questions. I'll carry on answering them while I'm trying to get this camera to actually cooperate. Oh, thank you, Rosie. That's very kind of you. You can definitely be my neighbor. Come over this side. It definitely doesn't get as cold here in the winter as it does in Toronto. I know it's freezing in some parts of America and Canada at the moment. What's been more effective for you out of using the pentacle with meditative purpose, or actually burying or having the pentacle by destroying by fire, etc.? I'd actually say the meditative manner, the gazing and the actual getting into the trance state. The main reason being, I think we have to actually go back to sigil magic for it and understand how the magic actually works. It's that transference from the conscious mind into the unconscious, and once it's in the unconscious, that's where all the magic happens. If we are simply taking the pentacle and we are burying it or burning it or something, whatever, destroying it in some manner, all we're doing is just an act. and we're not actually doing the magic itself. If you are doing the meditative or putting in the meditative aspect and using the trance work and then going to bury it, it's that's the main point, is the actual getting into the trance. Whether you destroy it afterwards or not is up to you, and it's dependent on whether your conscious mind interferes too much or you've trained it not to. Myself, for instance, I've trained my conscious mind to stop interfering with magic, but a lot of people find that very difficult to enjoy it. So it's not constantly seen by you. You're not always looking at it throughout the day, and therefore your conscious mind is interfering. So it's bringing in all these negative thoughts and thoughts that shouldn't actually be there. And it's also bringing it back into the conscious, out of the unconscious mind, where it can't actually do the magic. But if you can do that, then whether you bury it, burn it, or keep it on your altar is purely up to you. Am I buffering? I don't know why I'm buffering. Right. Let me try and restart this blasted program. Okay, now we have a little cat. That's not me. That's the neighbor's cat. Okay, let me just restart this and see if this works. I think we've got. Oh, we're on. There we go. I'm back. Cool. All right. Am I audible? I am audible. Wasn't I before? Did you? Could you not hear me just now? Christopher, does it occur to you that people tend to overlook the fact that money magic might be more effective if they actually combine it with hard work and precise planning? You've got to. You've got to combine with the work and everything else. Sometimes I forget to actually say things because they just seem too obvious. But it is worth mentioning that a lot of people, they will do magic and just expect it to happen without them putting any work in at all. So people will do magic for a job, for instance, to get a job, but they won't apply for any jobs. They just expect the magic to bring it to them. It's not how magic works. If you're applying for a job or you want a job, you've got to actually apply for lots of jobs. Then you do the magic to make your odds better. Hello, Andrea. That's okay. We're just getting to the question part now. But yeah, so too many people, they will just do the magic and not put in the work. But you've got it. It's like Gordon White actually mentioned on his blog. It was actually specifically about the lottery. If your odds are, for instance, 200,000 to 1, that you're going to win the lottery, if you do magic, all you do is increase the odds that you'll win. So the odds may become 20,000 to 1 instead of 200,000 to 1, but it still doesn't mean you're going to win the lottery because it's still big odds. Did my audio disappear? Okay, I'm not sure how much of it you got then. Basically, let me put that into a nutshell again. I'm just rewinding my brain. Hang on a second. So the main point is to transfer the work, whatever you're doing, from the conscious mind to the unconscious mind. If you are the type of person who is consciously always thinking about it and it interferes with the magic, then destroy the sigil. You can bury it, burn it, whatever. If you are the type of person who can control the conscious mind to the point where you can view the sigil or the pentacle, planetary pentacle, and not allow it to interfere with the magic, then you can leave it on the altar. So it really depends on what type of person you are. Hi, Tashi. Rosie, I am currently using Magical Job Seeker by Damon Brand. I am also applying, researching, working on myself, etc. That's how I found. Oh, did you find me through that? Okay. I've said previously I'm not a fan of Damon Brand, but I might just be a stick in the mud. Damon Brand has written a lot of short books, chapbooks, and I find that he gets a bit very basic. But that's not a bad thing. It's actually quite good for anybody starting with magic, like you are. But there's a lot more to magic than just the basic stuff that he puts in the books, and I find a lot of the things he doesn't explain succinctly. He does go very basic and broad, and he doesn't actually get into a lot of the details. So my advice is definitely use it if it's working for you, but also study a bit more into some other aspects. And it is very difficult to find out what you can actually actually read nowadays, because there's a lot of trash out there and there's a lot of good stuff. So to try and sift through it and figure out which is the good and which is the bad. I mean, even me now, I still battle. I actually mentioned to Rev Kai a couple of weeks back about an author. It was, I can't remember who it was now, but anyway, a specific author about the Northern traditions. And I found that work to be great. And Rev Kai said that it's absolute trash. They don't know what they're talking about. And I'm like, okay, fine. So it is very difficult to find out what you can actually read and what you can't, what's actually worthwhile and what is actually complete and utter nonsense. But just ask if you're not sure. Yes, I did hear you say that it is basic, but I am new to magic and saw that Foolish Fish on YouTube recommended. Who's Foolish Fish? I haven't heard of Foolish Fish. Well, Rachel's heard of Foolish Fish. I haven't heard of Foolish Fish. I'm going to have to go check this out now. Hang on. I won't do it now. I'm just putting it in the browser here. I assume this is on YouTube. I'll go check out Foolish Fish. So yeah, no, if it's working for you, if it's good for you, then definitely carry on with it. But as I say, if you want to learn more about magic, then you're going to have to get a bit more in depth, and you find out what basic things have more information out there. That makes no sense at all. Just ignore that. Oh, thank you, Rosie. You're so sweet. I definitely think you should be my neighbor. This is quite nice today. It's a bit more active than the previous weeks. Just want to see if I've missed anything in the comments. Andrea, I hope you're feeling well. I hope you're feeling better. Oh, I missed Christopher. Probability. I don't know. I can't remember if Mercury is still in retrograde, but my tongue is getting completely tied up today. Probability enhancement. Ah, yes. Okay. Speaking about the Foolish Fish should do a collab. Well, I'll watch Foolish Fish and then I'll ask them to do a collab. His name is Dennis Poison. He's from the UK but moved to Poland. I was from the UK. I moved to South Africa, so we've got something else similar. Tashi, does servitor usually take a while to get it working in terms of feeding energy? Okay, Tashi, I know exactly what you're talking about. Servitors, I would actually suggest that you actually build them up slowly. The usual way to create a servitor, it's often suggested that you take a week. Now, this is actually, I think, something fairly new. When I was taught how to create artificial elementals in Kabbalah and servitors as well, I remember years ago when I was learning about servitors, there was no mention of creating a servitor over a week period. And when I was taught it in Kabbalah, there was nothing. It was just one ritual, which you then generated the servitor and you sent it off. But a lot of people now are suggesting you actually create it over a week. And it actually makes a lot of sense because you don't want to put too much power into a servitor from the very beginning. It can short circuit, it can explode, it can, it's like anything else. Anything, if you take a battery and you just pump it full of power instantly, it's going to blow. It's very similar here. So what you want to do, you want to start building the energy up slowly. And it can take a day, it can take a week, it could take a month, but you know when it's ready. And if you then build it up slowly, then the energy becomes more stable, and you are better equipped to actually work with the servitor and to get it to do what you want it to do. So I would definitely keep it going slowly. Don't rush into it. It has been a while though. How long has it been? I think it's been 3 weeks, hasn't it? Just let me know. Can't remember. But you also, what you need to remember is once the servitor is created, you do have to keep feeding it, because otherwise it's just going to fizzle out. But it's got to go and do its job. Now that job, it's in your case, it's a very specific thing, and it only has to find one of that thing and bring it to you. Let me try and put this in the easiest terms possible. Timing is actually very, very important here. If that thing is brought to you before it should be in your universe, then it's not going to line up with a future pattern. So it actually needs to come in at a particular time. The servitor is going to go and look for that thing. It is going to bring it to you, but it can only bring it to you at a particular time. What the servitor is going to do, though, is make that thing apparent to you, so you don't miss it. You don't pass it by. You're not focusing on something and you completely miss this thing as it goes by. So this is where the servitor becomes important. So your servitor is probably created already, but it's still doing its work. It might not be an instant thing, so you've got to be patient. It's going to have to come in when it has been 3 weeks. Okay, 3 weeks isn't so bad. We usually give servitors when they've got very specific tasks, about a month, maybe up to 2 months to actually do what they need to do. But as I say, be patient, because what you're bringing into your life is going to be something that is going to last years and years and years and years. And you don't want to just rush that. There's a few, to be fair. Mind and Magic is another. I think I've seen Mind and Magic. I might actually be subscribed to them. Getting better, Andrea. Getting better. Good stuff. You got to still stay in bed though. That's orders from doctor over here. Next month, the month after. Oh yes, I did announcements at the beginning. I better do them again for you guys. Next month, I'm just going to be doing general topics, just to catch up on a few things. And next week, Reverend Kai is going to do Money Magic with me, just general discussion. The next month, they're going to do astrology. So we're going to do a live, and Rev Kai is going to talk about astrology, which is their main, well, not main focus, but Rev Kai is brilliant at astrology, let's put it that way. The month after, I'm going to do, the topic's going to be repairing the energy body. So we're going to look into recapitulation. I'll also look into energy healing, Reiki, and such. I have an idea of actually doing something online on video. It might be a good idea to do it live. I'm not sure yet, but something where I actually send out healing energy to everybody. I remember some years back I did a video on meditation, and it was specifically a Kabbalistic meditation that I was taught. And at the end, we build up energy ball between our hands, and I actually did something where I overtoned to help generate the energy. And I put this on DVD, and people actually said that even though it was over DVD and I'd done it past tense, it still worked. So I'm actually interested to see if something like that would actually work over or online. Just get back to this. Mercury is retrograde until the 22nd of February. Oh my word, I'm going to be tongue-tied right through. Foolish Fish is very knowledgeable. Okay, now I'm definitely going to check out Foolish Fish. Feb 21st, but then the shadow phase, remember? Yeah, okay. It's been 3 weeks. I have him as wallpaper to remind myself to say the chant you've given me every time. Okay, no, that's fine. Just keep doing that, Tashi. But the other thing, try not to obsess over it. It can definitely be something that a lot of people do is, they'll keep going back every 5 minutes. It's kind of like, somebody like me starting up a YouTube channel. Every 5 minutes you keep refreshing to see if anybody's subscribed. I don't do it quite that often anymore. But it's very similar here. Just do it passively. So in the morning, if for instance, if you've got it on your wall in your bedroom, in the morning when you get up, just look at it, chant the name, etc., and then leave it. Don't think about it for the rest of the day. Come back in the evening as you go into bed, and do the same thing, and then go to bed. Try not to obsess over it. It can be quite difficult. You just got to try your best with that. I'm definitely needing a healing, so I'll be here for that. I think everybody could do with a healing, especially lately. We're all feeling a bit disjointed. There was actually something interesting about this past conjunction that happened. What's your fave tarot deck, Lee? I'm not actually into tarot, to be honest with you. So I can't answer that question, sorry. It's just one of those things. Never been interested in tarot for some reason. I know it might sound a bit strange coming from somebody who practices magic and witchcraft, but just the way it is. Something that came up in a discussion about this Jupiter-Saturn conjunction. If everybody remembers the Mayan calendar, and if you might remember 2012 came along and everybody was going, oh, it's the end of the world and everything else. And then it came up that it wasn't 2012, it was actually 2020, but it was June, I think. It actually, from what I understand, it was actually 21st of December 2020, which was the Great Conjunction. That's when the Mayan calendar actually ended. We then had kind of, I've forgotten the term that was used, but it's kind of like a rest period. And that lasted until the, I think it was the 23rd or 21st of January. No, sorry. It was a 38-day period. Oh, my word, I forget now. Mercury's messing with me again. Anyway, it was about a month that this period actually happened. And a lot of people were reporting that they are just feeling completely out of place. They're feeling depressed. They don't know what's going on. All of a sudden, the energy is just out of whack. And it was actually this rest period until we start again. So if you were wondering about that period in January and what was going on, that could explain it. But I found that very interesting. What's your photo? Yeah, my nerves are a bit frayed. It's been a tough one this year so far. Each to their own. 7 planets conjoined recently. When was the 7 planets? Because the new moon with there's also, it was last night. There was also a Jupiter Venus conjunction, and I think there were 7 planets conjunct. But the main one was the Jupiter Venus conjunction, which is very good for, again, expansion, increasing wealth and things. Yes, world reset or something like that. Yeah. But also with the conjunction being the Jupiter Saturn, as I did mention previously, that was also the contraction and the death of that Saturn represents, and then the new birth that Jupiter actually represented. And obviously, when there's a death and a rebirth, there's a period a rest period, sort of where you go through the cauldron. I'm just going to disappear for a second. I'm going to turn the light on because it's getting a bit dark over here. So give me a minute. There we go. Bidding. That all in Aquarius, and yes. Yeah, it was the moon in Aquarius, wasn't it? Sorry, I'm not that great with astrology either. I pick up bits in here and there, and then I'll just go and ask Rev Kai if I need to know anything specific. So it's great to have friends like that. Do you recommend meditating on the sigil to feed some more energy, or just stick to passively say? Just do it passively, Tashi. Your servitor is actually is already created. You don't need to actually keep pumping more energy into it to make it bigger. It's already created, and I can tell you now, it's already doing its work. All you need to do is just keep feeding it so it doesn't die. So just feed it with your intent. Oh look, we've gone over an hour today. We're very active. What's your moon and rising? I've forgotten. Let's see. I am Virgo, Sagittarius was my rising. My moon was wasn't Leo, wasn't Libra. I can't remember. Sorry. Should we have a quick look? Let's see if we can find something quick. Calculate your rising moon. I'm not ignoring anybody. I'm now curious. You got me curious. I can't remember. Let's see. Oops, not the United Nations, the United Kingdom. Planetary. Okay, so I'm a Sagittarius ascending, rising. That's all it gave me. Okay, so I am Sagittarius. Right, so no, because I do. I want to know now as well. Give me a chance here. Hang on. So you ask these questions and you get me curious. I've got to find out. That's no help. Right. Let's try that. Okay, let's see. September, day 6. Right. People are going to be watching this afterwards and they're going to go, what the hell is this guy doing? Okay, so my moon's not Pisces. I'll have to find out for you and I'll let you know. I know it wasn't Pisces. All right then. Same as me. Which one are we supposed to consider as closest to correct? Sidereal or tropical astrology-based zodiac? After a discussion with Rev Kai about this, and I've actually started studying Vedic astrology. So the sidereal is actually apparently more accurate than the tropical, if I've got that right. Between the two, the Vedic astrology is more accurate than the Western astrology. I stopped when my aunt decided to leave, although she came back as a cat. It's true. That's how you end up in all the rabbit holes like I do. Vedic is meant to be most accurate. Yeah, there you go. I've only just started studying it, so don't ask me for the specifics. It's a pleasure, Rach. Are you off now? Are you going to go? Actually, talking about the astrology thing in the zodiac, Christopher, it doesn't mean that the Western astrology is inaccurate. It's just that the Vedic astrology is more accurate. They look into a lot more aspects than the Western. Okay, I think I'm going to end this just now. So if you've got any urgent questions, get them in now quickly. I'll wait for a little bit because I think there is a bit of a lag with the chat. See, my beard's getting all long and stuff. I've actually started making beard oil now. I'm going to sell it. I'm doing demon blends of the 4 elements. So I went to go and get the stuff to go and make my own, and then got the inspiration to actually make a whole bunch of them and sell them. Nice chat to everyone. I must feed my little people. Yes, you have to feed your little people, otherwise they get cranky and they start beating you up. Go feed the little people. I hope you all have a great weekend, guys. You too, Rach. Have a good one. Okay, so has anybody got any questions? Otherwise, you can always leave them in the comments or email me. Just go to my site, leewjohnson.com. You can email me through there. Thanks for the session. Sometimes I have to socially disappear. It has to do with... no, okay. I understand. That's fine. Right, you have a great weekend too. Is that a pandemic beard? No, it's a single beard. I have always wanted to grow a beard. But every time I think about it, I'm usually in a relationship, and I haven't been in one for a while now. So I remembered I wanted to grow a beard. So I actually grew a full beard, but I didn't like it because it was, yeah. So I just shaved off this bit now. I'm growing it. I'm going to plait it. My daughter wants to dye it in different colors, but I don't think that's going to happen. So I'm going to plait it like a Viking. And it's purely because I'm single. I got nobody to kiss, so, why not? Nobody complains. Okay, guys. Bore bush beard. got the country right. I'm just, I don't think I can call myself a boor. Don't even speak the language properly. I'm here, but yeah, that's about it. All right, guys, I'm going to go. As I say, if you've got any questions, just shove them in the comments or email me through my site. And I'll see you on Tuesday. So Tuesday, we're going to carry on with the money magic. And then on Friday, it's Rev Kai, general discussion about money magic. And that's next week. So see you then. Thank you, Lee. Have a great weekend. Lizzie is keen to set you up with someone. No, don't do that. I'm very happy being single. Have a good one. Cheers, Christopher. And okay. Bye, everybody. I'll see you next week. Have a good one.